Hello everybody. Today we're going to do some Hatha to help cultivate calm. All right, so for props, definitely recommend a couple of blocks. I almost always find them helpful, but especially when I'm holding poses for a little bit longer, as we do in Hatha. Blanket for your knees if you want it, or for warmth, and just pillow optional if you want something a little extra cushy around for the knees or for Shavasana. All right, and we're gonna start in a child's pose, easing yourself into this. And if it's just not comfortable as you begin this practice, maybe just lay on your front body, crocodile pose, stacking your hands and resting your forehead down so you get that nice grounded feeling. Also, with childs, you could make it a little more comfortable by putting a blanket underneath your ankles or between your hips and your heels. Maybe spread the knees out wide for this one, and lengthening your arms forward. Let your head rest down. You could even put a little blanket or a pillow under your head if you like. And let's just take a nice, unrushed moment to arrive here. Taking a few full rounds of breath. I'm just gradually beginning to feel the simple but very powerful ritual of lengthening and slowing each breath in and each releasing breath out. And take a couple more rounds here. And then maybe if there's a particular intention for you in this class, maybe if you just want to reinforce for yourself this intention to cultivate calm, now might be a nice time to plant that seed. And then slowly we'll start to walk ourselves back up. You can swing your legs around, so you come into a seated posture here. Feeling free to maybe elevate your hips a little bit on your blanket or pillow. And starting with the Baddha Konasana, bring the soles of your feet together. And drawing them in, don't have to squeeze them super tight here, but enough so you start to feel that just reasonable stretch in the inner thigh groin muscles. Flap the knees a few times, just as a little bit of a warm up here. And then kind of letting that gradually come to a close. Holding your hands around your shins or maybe the ankles. We'll inhale, sit up with a tall spine, and then exhale any amount you can fold yourself forward. And we'll hold here. Sometimes if the arms are on the calves there, you can kind of gently press down for a little self-assist. We'll inhale, come on back up. Go ahead, take your hands around the outsides of your knees and you'll draw them in towards one another. And then extend both legs long and point and flex the feet a few times. And then come back to sort of a mildly flexed position in the feet. Now we're going to bring the right foot inside the left knee. This is a Marachyasana version of a twist, but we're not going to cross over. Just now, we're going to keep that foot inside the knee. And then we'll take the right hand behind us. We'll just take this left hand and wrap it around the outside of the right knee or thigh. Sitting up nice and tall here, inhale. And then as you exhale, use the leverage of your hands and your leg pushing against one another to twist. Take a breath in here. And then twist a little further. And then if you like, you might turn your head so your chin is moving towards that right shoulder. And we're just giving it a little bit of time here, especially if you've been, stressed at all or feeling anxious. Having some time for these muscles around your upper spine and neck to unravel tension may really help release some of the residue of that stress. So I'm just giving it a couple more breaths. Remember that your breath is a tool you can use during your yoga practice. You don't need to be strict about every breath being exactly the same. If you feel like you want to exhale through the mouth or take a sigh, please do. Breathe in. And we'll exhale, taking this back around to center. We'll extend the right leg long. Take an inhale here, lengthening through your spine. Draw this left foot in, placing it inside the right knee. Left hand is going to be our kickstand now, and this right hand is going to mindfully wrap around and pull on the outside of the left knee or thigh there. And you'll press hand against knee, knee against hand. You'll inhale, sit up tall, and then exhale to twist. I've still got that kind of moderate flex going in the right foot and pressing down of the right thigh. And take another inhale here. And you can rotate again through the spine, maybe turning your gaze again behind you. Another inhale here. And as you exhale, you'll unravel again back to center. Extend your left leg long, and this time we're going to take a seated forward fold. So you'll inhale and just unfurl your arms up towards the sky. Reach out of the waist and then fold forward. Okay, now typically I touch my toes, but since we're just early in this chill practice, I'm just going to take my hands to my shins. That feels like enough. You also could use blocks here or touch to the mat. Again, that moderate flex of the feet and the pressing down of the thighs. Softening through your jaw here. When we're creating calm or cultivating calm, it's good to remember it's not like you're plucking it out of the universe or out of thin air. It's actually already within you. Kind of slowing down enough to uncover it. Breathing a little life into it to cultivate a more tangible feeling of it. We're going to walk our hands back up here. Inhale. And we'll exhale. Just relax the shoulders, but also relax all that work in the legs you've been doing. Maybe give them a little shake, maybe another point and flex of the feet. Good. Now if you could join me down on the front body. We'll come into a Sphinx pose. So rising up onto your forearms. Now, your elbows might be right underneath the shoulders or they might be slightly ahead. Just see what feels okay for your low back today. Tops of your feet are pressing down. So much that maybe the knees are lifting here. And a little isometric drag back of the elbows and a reach forward of the heart. And kind of neutral in the back of the neck. Try not to be looking up too much, but just like a nice, long, neutral shape. One more inhale here. And as you exhale, come on down and we'll take crocodile. So stacking one hand beneath the other, resting your forehead down. And just a few breaths in this one, but imagine your inhales are really filling up, particularly the lower back. And then a nice melting and softening on the exhale. And a couple more like that. And then you'll take your hands, place them by the ribs. Press up to your tabletop pose. We'll reorganize here for a moment. Here's where you might want to put a blanket underneath your knees if you like. And we'll take a couple rounds of cow and cat. So inhale to lift your chest and exhale around the spine, really curling down into the tailbone, getting that rounding into the low back. Okay, and just one more. Inhale and exhale. And come into your neutral spine. Can you bring your right leg back, toes curled under? Press into the top of the left foot. Inhale your right leg up about parallel with the mat. Hold here. And then as you inhale, point the toes behind, the right toes behind you, and then exhale to step the right foot forward into a lunge. Now here's where I'm going to definitely want my blocks. We're dropping into the hips and we're going to keep the back knee down if it feels okay. You could always lift it if you like. But remember, we're going for Hatha energy. So pulling the right heel back and left hip forward. Yes, the fingertips are down, but very lightly here. We're really feeling that body awareness and strength of the legs. Now we're going to take an inhale here. And then as you exhale, start to shift back. We're just going to take it right back to our tabletop. And we'll plant the hands. We'll take another round of cow and cat. So inhale, lift your chest. And exhale, round your spine. Now come on back into neutral, breathing in. Left leg back. press into the top of the right foot, lift your left leg, and we'll hold here. Trying to find that balance, finding center. Just body awareness, beautiful way to help ourselves cultivate calm. Simple balances like this ask a lot of us. Now, as you inhale, you're going to point the left toes and then exhale, left foot forward. I should say seemingly simple balances is what I really meant by that. So here we are in the lunge, and we want to remember not to just kind of collapse into this one. Let's pull the left hip back, right hip forward. We're very light on the hands here, and we're holding with some effort in this shape. One more inhale here. Whew. We'll shift it back. That side was tough for me. Take it into your table. And we're going to take the hands down. And this time around, we'll take a breath in, and then we'll curl the toes under and lift to a downward dog. And for the first few moments here, let's go ahead and just pedal the heels out. And then coming into some stillness. If you want to bend your knees as you hold that stillness, feel free. We'll take one more breath in. We'll exhale. Come back to your table. This time, swing your legs around. We're going to have a seat together, cross-legged. If that works, you're welcome to do something different if you prefer. And we'll take a moment to sit tall, taking a hand over your heart center and a hand over the navel or somewhere in that vicinity. Option to close your eyes if you like, and just to sit for about 5 or 6 breaths, internally connecting to where your hands are. Keep that connection right down in that trunk of the body. Just moving away from the busyness in the mind. One more inhale. Release that out, and you can gently let your hands now drift away from your body. Very nice. And we're going to come into our Shavasana now. You might like something soft underneath your back or underneath your knees, like your pillow. Right? You might want a blanket for warmth, or just that nice grounding sensory feel of something over you. doing your best to soften the muscles around your jaw and behind your eyes. To just rest and allow this to be a time not of doing, but of resting, allowing the calm to diffuse into your being. As always, you might choose to extend this rest. But if you are ready to shift now, you might take a nice stretch or wiggle your fingers and toes. Maybe rotate the wrists and ankles. Just anything that feels really nice for awakening. You could curl nice and comfortable over onto your side. And then we'll come up and try to find a nice tall spine, meeting and seated to close together. Bring your hands to heart center. Share a nice deep breath in. And a full breath out. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Peace, 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 everyone. Thank you so much for joining me.